What is going on, everyone? Laughing here, and today I am super excited because I get to talk about the Mass Effect Legendary Edition. It is one of my most anticipated games that's coming out this year, even though it is kind of a remake, remaster-ish, maybe even repackaging of the original 3 games. I was a huge, and still am, a huge fan of the Mass Effect series, even after everything that's kind of happened and the dust has settled, what have you. Still super duper excited. And earlier in the week, Bioware put out kind of what we can expect in the package of these 3 games when it comes to gameplay improvements, tuning, what have you. So we're gonna hop right into that. But before I get started, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. It super duper helps out the channel, and I'm gonna have some more reviews coming out later on this week and the weekend. So if you don't want to miss out, make sure you hit subscribe. In general, everything that they're going to cover is pretty lengthy, so I do kind of want to have this be a more condensed version with kind of my feelings on things as well, just so you can kind of breeze through what's new without actually having to like read it yourself. So without further ado, this is what we're going to cover. We are covering combat tuning for Mass Effect, additional gameplay improvements for all 3 games, the Mako, Mass Effect, of course, classic, unifying and modernizing the Trilogy, all, and Galaxy at War rebalancing specifically for Mass Effect 3. So hopping right in for the Mass Effect 1 tuning improvements for gameplay. We got Shepard can now sprint out of combat. Thank God. Oh my God. Melee attacks are now mapped to a button press rather than automatically occurring based on proximity to an enemy. Thank you. Weapon sway removed from sniper rifles. Fantastic. Sniper rifles were almost useless in Mass Effect 1 because of that. Aiming down sights, tight aim camera view has been improved. Improved aim assist for target acquisition. So far, these are just all fantastic quality of life improvements, and it's just going to make playing the original Mass Effect, which is a masterpiece in my opinion, so much easier. All relevant enemies now take head damage in the first game. Apparently some did not, humanoid and enemies included. Had no idea about that, but thank you. Ammo mods, so anti-organic, anti-synthetic, I think like there's some shredder rounds in there too, can now drop throughout the whole game. I guess they're just dropping kind of earlier on, and after you hit a certain level, they'd stop showing up. And now you can also get those from merchants too, which is kind of cool. All weapons can now be used by any class without penalty. Fantastic. So now if I just want to be a crazy sniping biotic, hey, I can do that now. So that's pretty sick. But specializations, the ability to train / upgrade certain weapons are still class specific. Makes sense. We had something very similar in Mass Effect 3, and weapon cooldowns are much faster. Thank you for that. Meta-jail usage has been improved. Base cooldown reduced, leveling benefits increased. Increased Lars bonus to cooldown, so that's kind of sick. Inventory management improvements. Items can now be flagged as junk. All junk items can be converted to Omnigel or sold to merchants at once. Inventory and stores now have sorting functionality. Thank God. I will say a good chunk of my time playing Mass Effect 1 was elevators and also inventory management, because especially if like later on, you get so much stuff, and like half of it you don't need, and then you always get the warning of like, hey, your inventory is full. It was super annoying. So the fact that they streamlined this is fantastic. Some abilities have also been rebalanced. Weapon powers, i.e. those that are unlocked on each weapon type skill tree, have been improved. Effectiveness / strength has been increased, and duration reduced in some cases. Heat now resets on power activation, so that'll be kind of cool to see. I believe they're talking about the overheating of weapons, so you use a power, it resets. That could potentially be kind of broken, but hey, that might be also helpful for insanity difficulty, so haha, thumbs up. Getting into the additional gameplay improvements, and once again, this is for all 3 games. We got squad mates can now be commanded independently of each other in the first Mass Effect, same way you can in the rest of the games. Some boss fights and enemies in the first games have been tweaked to be fair for players, but still challenging. Good to hear. Mass Effect 1 had some really weird bosses. I think it was like the thorax or I forget, like not Novaria, it was the other planet. That was a really hard and long boss fight, bunch of different levels. So kind of curious to see what happens there. And then the big fight on Novaria. No major spoilers, I guess I'll bring up, but that was kind of a really hard fight due to no cover. So, and cover has been improved across the trilogy, so that's awesome. I guess we got additional cover added to some encounters. Entering and exiting cover is now more reliable as well. Two things I'm pretty pumped on. There were some pretty hard boss fights that were literally just hard because you had no cover and you just had to kind of roll and dodge, and just really made them like long and tedious for really no reason. And there was also some issues with just entering, exiting cover in a general sense, where you'd get out of cover, supposedly, you tell them to, but you won, and then like a grenade would happen or what have you. It could be really annoying. That was kind of an issue all the way up to Mass Effect 3 for me, so the fact that they did that for all 3 games makes me a real happy guy. And XP has also been rebalanced in the first game. With combat comes XP. XP gained during the first game has been rebalanced for better consistency, especially towards the game's end. Players who complete most aspects of the game should be able to more reliably get to higher levels on a single playthrough rather than needing to play through a second time to do so. Additionally, there's also no level cap on the first playthrough. That is super great to hear. Mass Effect 1 really was a really big game, and if you tried to go through all of the content for that, yeah, you definitely hit that level cap. And yeah, the later levels were real rough. It took me like 2 to 3 kind of run throughs of the game to get like the level 50, and hopefully that won't be the case, and that will kind of help kind of the level balancing for a lot of the later fights as well, potentially. So that will hopefully be good to see. And then ammo drops have also been rebalanced in Mass Effect 2. As a final gameplay change, we also tweaked ammunition in Mass Effect 2. We found out that ammo was spawning too scarcely in the original game, which we've increased to the drop rate for ammo in Mass Effect 2, particularly when using the sniper rifle, yup, since that had a reduced ammo drop rate in the original release. Yes, that was one of the really hard things with Mass Effect 2, especially on the harder difficulties. It's not only were you just trying to survive and be smart about stuff, but you really had to land every single shot because ammo was scarce a lot. I remember like fighting a bunch of bad guys and going back to where I know I could get ammo and just backtracking a whole bunch. It was really tedious. I made parts of the game not as fun, so hopefully that has been completely fixed going forward. And next up, we have everyone's favorite refrigerator on wheels, the Mako. Everyone's favorite iconic, horrible video game vehicle. Oh man, I'm excited to get back into this bad boy. I kind of half hope that there's a way to kind of relive your horrible Mako experience with like a button click, kind of how like in the Master Chief Collection you can have like the original graphics or the newer graphics. That could potentially be kind of fun, but I don't know. I don't think that's going to happen. But the improvements they have for the Mako are improved handling, physics tuning, improved to feel weightier and slide around less. That was the biggest issue for the Mako. As I said before, it was well known to be a refrigerator on ice skates, not even wheels, on ice skates. It was pretty ridiculous half the time. And then improved camera controls as well, resolved issues preventing the Mako from accurately aiming at lower levels. Thank you. It's once in a while on a few planets there'd be like a bad guy camp, and you could just kind of like crash through the Mako, and you know, when half the enemies were up close, you couldn't hit anything, which kind of sucked because when you got out of the Mako, you're kind of at a disadvantage because it's kind of jarring between the two. So hopefully that's been completely fixed. And shields recharge faster as well. I know I spent plenty of time just sitting around waiting for shields to recharge. Let's be honest, is not fun. New thrusters added for a speed boost. Hell yeah, baby. Here we go. Gonna be going up those mountains with great speed, and it is also separate cooldown from the jump jets as well. So maybe, I don't know. We'll see. But we hopefully will be going real far in the Mako in the Legendary Edition, which will be just a lot of fun. And the XP penalty while in the Mako has been removed. Touching lava no longer results in instant mission failure and instead deals damage over time. Thank you for that. The amount of times I failed a various mission because I just touched a little bit of lava, too damn high. Next up, we have unifying and modernizing the Trilogy. So one of the first big things they talk about is the updated character creator. You can now be Mass Effect 3 Shepard in Mass Effect 1, which is kind of cool. For me, I was a bigger fan of Mass Effect 2 Shepard, Fem Shep specifically. Mass Effect 3 Shepard didn't really do it for me. I didn't really like her look exactly. It wasn't bad, but like I said, I kind of preferred the Mass Effect 2 version better. I will say that in the original games, taking a character from Mass Effect 1 to Mass Effect 3 was like, they completely screwed the pooch on that back in the day. Like, your character would look one way in Mass Effect 1 and Mass Effect 3, they'd look completely different. Like, I spent a good amount of time basically just redoing my entire character just because it just looked horrible. Might as well just start from scratch, to be honest with you. They also have a new unified launcher for all 3 games, so that'll be kind of nice. One launcher, launch all 3 games. No, I guess we're not really doing discs anymore, more than likely, but no changing out discs, no having to exit out of the game, enter another one. It'll be good. So that'll, yeah, I am excited for that. That is for sure. Saves are unique to each game, though, which is good. And the games are managed independently of each other as well. So that's actually kind of good news for the modding community, I think, as well. I think more freedom with that, I think, is definitely a good thing overall. And I will tell you one thing, mods for this game, I'm going to be keeping a good eye on. I think it should be kind of fun. So we'll kind of see, though. They've also unified achievements across the trilogy in a general sense. So I guess there was some achievements where it was basically the same throughout various games. So they've kind of made that better, which is always good and awesome. So I'm kind of excited for that. And progress for the achievements also carries over. So that's really awesome. In Mass Effect 1, if you don't get like 500 biotic kills or something like that, and you should be able to get that hopefully by the end of Mass Effect 3, for instance, if you stay the same class. So that's pretty awesome. They've also integrated weapons and armor DLC packs. So weapons and armor DLC packs are now integrated naturally into the game. They're obtainable via research or by purchasing them from the merchants as you progress through the game, rather than immediately being unlocked from the start. This ensures an overall balance and progression across Mass Effect 2 and 3. Recon Hood, Mass Effect 2, and Cerberus Ajax Armor Mass Effect 3 are available at the start of each game. So that's kind of cool. I remember kind of back in the Mass Effect 3 days specifically, I had like all the DLC armor ready to go. And right out of the gate, without having to do anything, I was already wearing some pretty kicking armor, which is kind of cool, but it also really wasn't that balanced. So kind of cool. We get to kind of find these armors in the wild, hopefully. And I think that'll be a lot of fun. And now we have additional gameplay and quality of life improvements. Audio is remixed across all games. Hundreds of legacy bugs from the original releases are fixed. Thank you. Please don't have this be another Skyrim Legendary Edition, or what? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it was called. Is they had legacy bugs in that bad boy. The same bugs from when Skyrim launched were in that game, like, what, 8 years later? Oh, God. So please don't do that, Bioware. I beg of you. Make sure that you stay to your word on that one, please. And last but not least, we have Galaxy at War rebalancing, which, if you don't remember, at the end of Mass Effect 3, we had a galaxy readiness kind of meter. And if you didn't do multiplayer and various other things, you could get technically a bad ending, depending on who you talk to. They're all bad, but whatever. We won't get into that today. So it's kind of nice because you're basically shoehorned into doing multiplayer or some sort of companion app. So at the time, it was kind of confusing for a lot of people because you had like, 2 to 3 different kind of variants of kind of what helped you get a good ending back when Mass Effect 3 launched. So they've kind of unified that, which is kind of nice. And if you play Mass Effect 1, Mass Effect 2, Mass Effect 3, it's pretty easy to do at that point. If you do all the extra stuff in each game, you're going to be pretty much ready to go at the end of Mass Effect 3 right away. It's kind of what it sounded like to me. But if you just hopped in to only play Mass Effect 3, you have to do basically all the additional side content to still get that, which I think makes sense. Why would we, incorporate any like weird kind of readiness levels for stuff that doesn't really work anymore, or like really old apps, what have you. I will say I am bummed multiplayer is not in this, but it is what it is at the end of the day. So I am happy to see that they did balance this as well. Good quality of life improvement going forward. So I kind of missed it earlier, but IGN actually got some comparison gameplay footage directly from Bioware, showing kind of comparisons of Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3 to the Legendary Edition, which I'm really happy about because I was really concerned that somehow Mass Effect 1 was going to end up looking better than the other two that came out later. And kind of based on what we saw, they released a little a gameplay video of Mass Effect 3, and I didn't think it looked that good, to be honest with you, but I'm happy to say that the comparison video that IGN threw out there, courtesy of BioWare, is making everything look much better. Honestly, the graphics look pretty cohesive across both, or all games rather, which huge thumbs up here. That is really awesome to see, and I suppose here as well. In general though, what do you guys think with this huge info dump, both gameplay changes and also kind of graphically as well now? Are you pumped? Are you excited for the Legendary Edition? Or did you not really like what you hear? Were you really hoping for a complete remaster and rework of all three games? Which I gotta say, somewhat understandable if that's your opinion, but if it is, put that in the comments below. And also please hit like and share this video. It's super duper helpful. I want to say thank you so much for watching the video. Do something great for yourself, and as always, take care.